Now, okay, so real quick here. So what we were doing in the previous section was, if I was to give you, and I would not write this down yet because this is not the actual problem. I'm going to alter it a little bit here. So on 7-2, just watch for a second here. Question number 3, I think it starts on, or is it 5?
Can I go sharpen
3.
my pencil?
Yeah, x plus 1, x plus 3. If I gave you this, do not write this down. Just want to make sure. This is the one that you should be able to knock right out of the park. Again, do not write this down. This is not question number 3, okay? All you do is you add your combined to like terms. Once x plus another x, 2x. Careful, not x squared. We're not timesing. We're adding. 1x and 1x is 2x, and then 1 and 3 is 4. We're just adding like terms. Well, the actual problem doesn't have a plus sign between it. So we're multiplying. We're timesing. Right. We're going to multiply. Now, here's what you do, okay? You take everything in here, each of these two terms, and times them by each of these two terms here. So we're going to start out with, and they give you different methods on solving, on simplifying these things, okay? We're eventually going to use one word to sum this all up, okay? So we're going to multiply each of these first by x, okay? So I'm going to underline it, okay? And I draw little arcs that'll help you out. We take x times x. X times x is x squared. Then we're going to take x times 3. We're timesing each of these by x. X times 3 is 3x. We've times each of these by x. Now we're going to times each of these by what?
1.
1 times x is what? 1x. And then 1 times 3 is 3. And timesing. Sometimes students will put 4 down. Where would they get 4 from? They added. We're not adding. We're timesing. Now, so we've multiplied everything in one by everything in the other. And we're not quite done because you can simplify that. We can put together 1x and 3x, and that is 4x. Plus 3 with an x squared out front. That's the problem, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, if you can do this, you can do pretty much anything on the entire assignment. It's going to be the same problem over and over and over with different numbers and different variables. That's all you got to do.
Oh, well,
Okay.
that's easy.
So question number 5.
I don't think I've submitted that. I have to do that.
Number 5, we have x minus 5. Is that an x or a z? Z minus 5. Golly, I can't even see it. Z minus 5, z plus 3. Times z plus 3. I always put lines to my z's so they don't look like 2's. Okay, z minus 5. There's that. Z minus 5, z plus 3. Okay, so we're going to times each of these first by z. So z times z is z squared. And then z times 3 is 3z. Now you got to be careful here, okay? What are we going to multiply now by? We times everything by z. Now we're going to times by not 5. Good. You caught yourself. She said 5. It's not 5. What'd you say, Alana?
No, that was her.
Oh, okay.
I said negative 5.
Then you said negative 5. Okay, we're timesing by negative 5. It's not 5. It's negative 5. Negative 5 times z is negative 5z. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Have we multiplied everything by everything?
I think
Yep.
so.
Are we done?
No, we have
Not
to
No,
quite.
we have to subtract.
combine like terms.
Combine like terms. 3 and negative 5 is negative 2z minus 15 with a z squared up front.
Yeah.
I want to show you something, and I want to point out this is what you do not do. Don't do. If I gave you x plus 4 times x plus 5, every year I say don't do this, and every year there's a couple of people that do this on tests. They say the answer is x squared plus 20. What did they do?
They times the first one with the
They
first
times x and x,
and then they times 4.
and they times those. That's not how you do it. I didn't say times the first two and times the last two. I said he times each of these by which of those? Both of them. Times everything by everything, okay? That's not how you do it, okay? And again, if you understand these first two questions, you're sitting good right now. This is going to be a very simple section, okay? And if you're struggling, then just keep watching because it's going to be the same thing. So, and also, well, number 7. We'll talk about this when I put this problem up here. If I give you g minus 7, g minus 2. G minus 7 times g minus 2. I had people in the other classes say, can I change my g's to x's? I don't like them. I don't care if you do that. I really don't. But when you're typing it in on the computer, you better type in what?
G.
If you type in x's, guess what? It's going to mark you wrong.
No.
Now, on a written test, if you change your g's to x's, are you okay? Sure, I don't care. All right? But on your computer, you got to use the letters they use. We're going to times each of these first by g. G times g is g squared. G times negative 2 is negative 2g. Then we're going to times by negative 7. Negative 7 times g is is negative 7g. Then negative 7 times negative 2, be careful, a lot of students say it's positive 14. Some people think it's negative 14. A negative times a negative is a positive 14. Then we put together a negative 2 and a negative 7, that's a negative 9g plus 14 with a g squared out front.
Make it seem so easy.
That's all we're doing, timesing everything by everything. Okay? Yes, sir.
So, my question is, can there be more than a single variable per equation?
Sure. Not in this section, but yeah, you definitely can. Okay? All right, number 9. Now I'm going to tell you this, okay? I don't want to confuse people here,
Nice.
but they talk about in this section different ways of doing it. It's all the same way, it just kind of presented a different way. I'm going to throw a word at you right here, okay? And I really would like you to just watch for a second here. What I want you to understand, write down the problem, then just watch. 3m plus 1, m plus 9, okay? Write it down, then just watch. I'll give you time to copy it down after we're done. Okay, so write down the problem and then just watch, okay? I'm going to throw a word at you, and this is a word you definitely need to memorize, okay? This word right here. F-O-I-L, foil, okay? We're not talking about the stuff. Now, if you're going, you know what you've been doing for the last 5 minutes? We've been foiling. If you're wondering, what the heck is foil? The stuff you wrap up your sandwich with? No. Different kind of foil, okay? Foil is a mnemonic device. If you're wondering, what the heck's a mnemonic device? There's a mnemonic device that you should have learned back in elementary or middle school. Do you guys know who Roy G. Biv is?
Yes, definitely.
Who is he? Sort of a trick question.
A calculator person.
You guys don't know who Roy G. Biv is? Nobody knows who Roy G. Biv is.
Is it the guy who's counting the sheep?
They don't teach you that anymore?
Is it the Egyptians in the pyramid?
Nobody knows who Roy G.
The name is super familiar.
Smart. Biv is
He is a.
No, he's not alive. He's never been alive.
Oh.
You guys don't know who Roy
Is the concept?
You guys have been, no, it's a way. Let me throw this at you. I think
Oh wait, it stands for something.
it definitely stands for something.
Wow, really?
Isn't
Smells
PEMDAS
like
a...
it, but it's.
What?
Isn't PEMDAS...
Like, have you ever heard, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I was gonna
Is that
say,
an
but
English
it- but
sentence?
it-
I mean, is that
yeah.
English? No, that's what
It's
class is that
math,
for?
math.
What's parentheses? What's my dear?
My dear.
Multiplication.
Multiply, divide, what's Aunt Sally?
Addition.
And subtracting. That's not really in English. It has nothing to do with English. It's a math. It's a sentence for math. That's all about science. You guys don't know who Roy G. Biv is?
No.
They'll
Tell
probably
us.
teach me it next year.
Do you know?
Think
My
about
mom said
after
they'll
it
probably teach me
rains.
it next year.
Sometimes after it rains.
There's a rainbow.
Red,
Orange,
Orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. You guys never learned that?
Indigo is a real color?
Roy G. Biv is a way of memorizing something, okay?
Never heard of an indigo flower.
Okay. So indigo is like purple, purplish, okay? Yeah, that's not a person. It's something that you use to memorize a rainbow, okay? Foil stands for first, outside, inside, and last, okay? That's what it stands for, first, outside, inside, last, okay? Now, what I want you to understand is, just watch, again, just watch. Totally focus. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to say foil a lot the next week. And when you're in Algebra 2, we're going to use FOIL a lot. It's something you definitely need to have memorized. You need to memorize, okay? So, do you see 4 terms here? 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Also think of it not just as 4 terms, think of it as 2 sets of 2. 2 terms, okay? What's the first term you see here? What's the first one you see? 3m. What's the first term you see here? M times m. What's 3m times m? 3m squared. Okay. Now, I'm going to erase these right here, okay? Outside, okay? I get it, everybody here is in the classroom, okay? But I'm just curious, is timer sitting on the inner part of the classroom or the outer part? Outer part, okay? Where's Hunter sitting? This Hunter. Where's Hunter sitting? On the inner part or the outer part? Yeah, and seriously, look at your classmates right here. You guys are on the outside.
We're on the inside.
You guys are on the inside. You're kind of in the middle of inside outside, but you guys are way on the outside.
Your imagination.
You're on the inside. Okay. Shh. So, look at these 4 terms. Guys, come on. Cut the conversations, guys, okay? What are the outside terms? There's 4 terms here. What's way over on one side and way over on the other?
1 and 9.
Not 1. 3m and I'm not being sarcastic here. Why are they on the outside? Look at them.
Because they're on the outside.
Because they're on the outside. Where are you sitting? Inside or outside? Why? Because I told you to sit over there, okay? Where are you sitting?
So basically it is.
Inside. Outside. It's not a trick question. You guys are on the outside. You guys are on the inside. These are on the outside. What are the inside ones? M and 1. Why? That's where they're at. That's where they're at, okay? So times the outers. What's 9 times 3m? 27m. Times the inner ones. These are the inner ones. What's 1 times m? 1m. What were the first terms again? 3m and 1m. So what are the last terms? If these were first, 1 and 9 times them. 9 times. Don't add them. We're not doing anything different. We're just using the term FOIL. Okay? Put together 27 and 1. We have 28m.
First out and last.
Yep. So 3m's. And we've been foiling here. I just didn't use the word yet. Okay? Next one. So when you're doing your assignment, they're going to say different things like use a table and distribute and stuff. We're just foiling. That's all we're doing is we're foiling. Okay? So it's the same thing. X plus 3, X plus 2. I may even ask you this on your next test. Very likely, you know what I'm going to ask you? I may ask you, what are the first terms here? What are the first terms here?
What is
X and X. What are my last terms? 3 and 2. What are the outer ones?
X and 2.
X and 2. Outside. What are the inner ones?
3 and X.
3 and X. Outside, inside.
Well, that's easy to understand.
Yes, it is. You know what you say the outside ones are? One's on the outside. You know what the inside ones are? One's on the inside. Times your first. What's X times X? X squared.
Second.
Outers times them.
6.
Outers.
Oh.
That's
2x.
2x. Inners. 3x. Lasts. These were first, so what's last?
6. 3 and 2.
3 times 2 is 6. Again, I've said this probably 5 times. I'm going to say it a 6th time. Have we times everything by everything?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, we have. Are we done?
No.
Nope. Why?
Find like term.
5x plus 6, x squared out front.
2x.
X squared plus 5x plus 6.
Are we gonna have to solve this, like the final equation of it?
Eventually we will. The reason, yeah, but not today. Probably not even this year. We're running out of time. Okay? What are your first terms?
H and H.
Times them.
A squared.
What are your outers?
H and 9.
Nope.
-9.
Good.
-9.
You said it that time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's h times -9? -9 h. What are your inner ones?
-8 and H.
Times them.
-8H.
What are your last ones? If h and h are first,
8 and -9.
say it again. -8, -8 and -9. Times them. What's -8 times, what's a negative times a negative?
A positive
8 times 9?
is 72.
Okay. What's a -9h minus 8 more h's? Plus 72, h squared up front. Again, on a written test, can you put x's instead of h's?
Yes.
You put x's on your computer, they're going to give it to you?
No, they're going to give it to us wrong.
And did you do it right?
Yeah.
What, are you going to get credit for it?
No.
Can you put capital H's?
No.
No, it'll mark you wrong on that also. You better put what they have. Okay, 15. Better have lowercase. If you didn't already catch on to this, which of these problems has been the hardest one so far?
They're not hard.
Which one's the hardest one?
None.
They're all the same problem, just different numbers. We're doing the same thing over and over and over. 3k minus 1 times 4k plus 9. 4k plus 9? Yep. What are your first terms?
3K and 4K.
Times them.
That's a K?
Those are k's.
That's a C.
7K.
Careful, times, not adding. 12. And what's k times k? K
Squared.
squared. Outers, what are they?
3K and 9.
Right. Why are they on the outside?
Because they're on that.
Because they're on the outside. It's not a trick question, okay? Why is Ross on the outside of the room? Because that's where I put him, okay? So times 3k and 9, 27k. Inners.
Negative
One
one.
and
4K.
What's negative 1 times 4k?
3K.
Timesing, quit adding.
Oh. Negative 4K.
Negative 4k. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4k. Lasts. If these were first, our lasts are what?
Negative 1
And
9.
Times them.
Negative 9.
Yeah.
Put together 27k and negative
Trying to keep
4k.
up with you guys.
23k minus 9, the 12k squared out front.
Simple.
$17. Okay, this one looks a little weird, but that's all right. Negative 3 plus 2j. Hopefully, when I put this up here, you'll understand. You look at this and go, this looks kind of weird. I mean, this one looks a little different. Anybody know why? We're still gonna do the same thing. Why is this one?
7.
The J is not in the front of the first one.
Is this one written right?
No,
What should have been first?
the 2J.
2j and then minus 3. You're supposed to put the variables first, okay? It's in the wrong order, okay? If you want to switch it right now, you can, but if you've already written it, I'll just leave it alone. Just when we're all done, put it in the right order. Make sure you put it in the right order when you're done. I'm going to leave it like this for right now. What are your first terms?
Negative 3 and 4J.
What's negative 3 times 4j?
Negative 12J.
Outers.
Negative 3 and 4 or 7.
What's a negative 3 times a negative 7? Negative times negative is a, and what's 3 touchdowns? 21. Inners.
2J and 4J.
And be careful here. Students will say this. They'll say 6j. How'd they get 6j?
They added.
And we're not supposed to add. They'll say so it's times. And then they'll do this. They'll say 8j. It's not 8j. It's 8j squared. J times j is j squared. Lasts.
2J and negative 7.
Negative 14j. Now let's let's just not combine like terms. Let's also put them in the right order. Which one's supposed to be first?
The J's. 8J squared.
8j squared. And then I could put together a negative 12j with what?
The negative 14J.
That's a negative 26j's. And what's left? Plus 21. Okay. So again, if you look at your assignment, it says use a table to do this. Just do it foil or do what we were doing earlier. We were timesing everything by everything. You know what we were doing without me saying it? Foiling. We were foiling. Okay. We're not doing anything different here. Okay. So what was it, 17? There is no number 19. I'm sorry. 21's the next one. I apologize. Number 21. Now they actually say use the FOIL method. Well, guess what? We've been using the FOIL method. B plus 3, B plus 7. I'm going to shut my mouth for 30 seconds. Go ahead and do this one. FOIL it out. I'm going to give you the answer in a few minutes, but go ahead and try it on your own. Okay?
Now I know.
B.
What's that? Those are B's. Yep. B plus 3, B plus 7.
I thought the second one was 5.
Done.
What'd you get?
I don't know.
It's okay. Have confidence. Come on.
Okay, so.
Just give me your final answer. I'm curious what your final answer is, then we'll do it.
B2 plus.
B squared.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean B, yeah, B squared.
That's fine.
As far as I
Fine.
get B squared.
Plus 10B
Okay.
plus 21.
Fantastic. Ross, what are your first terms?
B and 3.
First terms. B and. Remember, first term here is B. What's the first term here?
B.
B and B times
Yeah.
them.
It's B squared.
B squared. What are your outers?
B and 7.
Times them. Don't think hard on this. 7 times B is just
7B.
inners.
3 and B.
Times them.
3 3B,
Lasts.
3 and 7,
Times them. 3 touchdowns.
21,
What's 3B and 7B?
10B,
Plus 21, and what's out front? That's it. 23. We've got 4 more to do, and then we're done for today. Okay, FOIL method, k plus 5, k minus 1. K plus 5, k minus 1. First terms are k times k, that's k squared. Outers is k, and again, be careful here, okay? If I say be careful in this class, 99% of the time, you know what I'm talking about? Negatives. Watch the negatives. Students miss those all the time. Our outers, true or false, our outers are k and 1.
True.
Not 1.
No, it's -1.
Negative 1. K times negative 1 is negative 1k. My inners are 5 times k, that's 5k. And my last, again, be careful. Some students will see 5 and negative 1 and they'll put down 4. Where'd they get 4 from?
They added.
They added, okay?
Subtracted.
So be timesing 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Put together 5 and negative 1, that's 4k's. Minus 5 with a k squared up front.
Easy.
Hold up just a second. 3 more to go. All right, now just so you understand, okay, these are going to look a little different, and I want to point something out here. Think about this before you answer, okay? Think about this before you answer. Don't say anything. Some of you are going to want to shout it out right away, okay? Just think about it, seriously. Is it harder, and don't say anything at least for 10 seconds, okay? Is it harder to count to 100, or is it harder to count to 1,000,000? Think about it. Don't say anything yet. Is it harder to count to 100, or is it harder to count to 1,000,000? What do you guys think?
100.
It's harder to count to 100?
a million.
Million? Anybody disagree? I'm not.
It's not hard to count to a million, it just takes time.
Takes a lot longer. I agree. It doesn't take. It's not harder to count to 1,000,000. It just takes longer. Okay. So what we're about to do here is this.
It was secret answer C.
Okay.
You try remembering the 100,760, and then keep on.
If you wrote them down while you're saying them, then it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but what I'm getting at is this. What I'm about ready to show you, it's not any more difficult. It's just going to take a little bit longer. Okay. So 35, we have x plus 4 times
I don't know.
x squared. Okay. You can't really use what we call FOIL on this one.
You went to 35?
Yeah, it jumped all the way to 35. You're going to find on these last few assignments that we're going to jump around a lot because we're running out of time, and there's certain things there's things that are more important than others that you need to know how to do. So there's some things we just skip over, so you don't have to worry about them at all. Okay. The reason why we can't really use FOIL, F-O-I-L, because we have like our firsts and our outers and our inner terms and our last terms. What does this thing have? It has a what?
It has its own foil.
It has a middle term, okay? If you remember, all FOIL is a cute little way of remembering that we take each of these things and times them by which of these? Which one?
Everything.
Everything. We times all of this by all of this, okay? So we're going to times each of these 3 first by what?
X.
X. So let's underline X. What's X times X squared?
Wouldn't it be X to the power 3?
X to the 3rd. Now we're going to times X times 3X.
3X to the power 2.
3x squared. Same thing as she said. 3 to the power of 2, or x to the power of 2. And how about x times 2? 2x. Now what are we going to times by?
4.
4. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times 3x is 12x.
Plus 8.
4 times 2 is 8. You don't have to draw those little arcs. You know how I draw them?
Make it easier for
Easier, I'll tell you why. True or false? If I wanted to count the students in my class right now, okay? Could I count the number of students in the class this way? 1, 2, 3,
Yes,
4,
you can count
5,
that way.
6, 7, 8. Is that a good way of doing it?
Yeah.
Why? What's going to happen?
You're gonna get confused.
I'm going to count him twice, and I'm going to forget about her, okay? You gotta have some sort of, so why I draw these little arcs, it tells me what I times together. I'm making sure I times everything by everything, okay?
Yeah, but
There's
if you count him twice and forget about her, you still get the same.
Yeah,
number.
that's what I was about to say.
Okay, so, we've timesed everything by everything. Are we done?
No, you have to put like terms together.
What can I put with x3?
Nothing.
What can I put with 3x squared?
4x squared.
And that's 7x squared. I can put together 2x and 12x and get 14x plus 8. That wasn't any harder.
No.
It just took a little longer. Okay, it was 35. 2 more to go. 37. 37. We have y plus 3 times y squared, I think it says. Hang on. Yep, y squared plus 8y minus 2. Plus 8y minus 2. So we're going to multiply everything in the right first by what?
Y.
Then later on by what? 3.
Y to the third power.
Slow down. Y times y squared is y to the third. Y times 8y, we're timesing
8y squared.
8y squared.
To the
And y times negative 2.
negative 2y.
Now we're going to times by what?
3.
3 times y squared is 3y squared. Then what?
3 times 8y.
Is 24y. Finally, 3 times what?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 is? Again, have we times everything by everything?
Yep.
We all done? Nope.
You're gonna combine.
Okay. Let's go back to the last section. Should I look at that one first?
Yeah.
Because it's first?
No, because it has the highest.
It has the highest power. It is first. But that's not the reason. It's because it's the highest power. What goes with it?
Nothing.
8y squared goes with what?
11y to the square.
11y squareds. I can put together a negative 2y and a positive 24y. 22y minus 6. Again, I'm really hoping you're sitting here going, man, it feels like we're doing the same thing over and over and over, because we are. We've done the same problem about 15 times, just different numbers. Last one, 39.
It follows all the same.
Yep. Okay, so we have 4 minus b times what? 5b squared plus 5b. 5b squared plus 5b minus 4. Okay. Now be careful on this one. I said be careful. I told you a second ago what be careful normally means. We're going to multiply everything first by what?
4.
4, then later on by what?
B, negative b.
Good. Negative b. That's not a b. It's negative b. Okay? So 4 times 5b squared is 20b squared. 4 times 5b is 20b. And be careful, students will see 4 and negative 4, all of those cancel. They cancel if you're what?
Adding.
We're not adding. 4 times negative 4
16.
is negative 16. Now we times by what, b?
Negative b.
Negative b. Negative b times positive 5b squared. A negative times a positive is a negative. And what's 5b squared
to
times
the third.
5b to the third? And then negative b times positive 5b. A negative times a positive is a negative.
Negative 5b to the second.
5b squared. And negative b times negative 4.
That's positive 4b.
Okay, should I look at 20b squared first?
No.
No. What one should I look at first?
Negative 5b 3
Why?
squared.
Why?
Because it's a bigger exponent.
Highest exponent, what goes with it?
Nothing.
So it stays negative 5b to the third. Then I'm going to look at 20b squared and put it with what?
Negative 5b squared.
That's 15b squareds. And then I can put together 20b and 4b, and that's 24b minus 16. Okay, Monday will be a work day, okay? You got about 20 minutes if you haven't finished up the previous section. Yeah.